Let me hit record. Bang. Now I know I'm like an hour and a half late. Still don't got no fade. Shirt hella wrinkled. It don't even match my pants, if you can see it. But I'm showing up. And I'm showing up because that's going to be a real consistent part of this story and just a part of what I do. Hold on, let me just send this out real quick. But I'm going to always show up. So tonight, I'm late because I had to call a little audible. I had a great show lined up. Still gonna give y'all that great show, but sometimes things just get even better when you let it bake for a little bit. And I figured, what better time than to do this? So tonight, I'm not talking about Diddy. I'm not talking about Cardi B. I'm not talking about Drake. I'm talking about Stro. A lot of new people watching, a lot of new eyes, and I figured the best way to really do it is to introduce you to myself. And before we really get into that, I'm going to start with this.
Yeah, mic check, 1 2 1 2. What's up? Where your boy Stro? What it do? In the studio working on something new. Just got done with the first single coming soon for you. New album coming fall. In case you ain't know, brand new album called I Am Stro. Oh yeah, I'm open for collabs, but legendary one like one whole hooked up with Fab. Young legend, ENT at gmail.com. I'm open anything, but it gotta be the bomb. No, there's nothing else that y'all need to know except for do it big. Coming soon off the album I Am Stro. Keep it locked.
So, with that hell of a classic intro from, like a 14-year-old Stro, I am William Stro II, a.k.a. Stro Stylez, and this is another episode of the Stro Show Live, presented by Stro Studios and No Backup Plan. Man, let's go. I ain't get all that loaded up for nothing. I'm going to get to it. And tonight, a lot of people see me doing videography and photography and, a lot more media now. But my journey starts with music. I started, and I figured to really do this show just because I had these notes just coincidentally just sitting over here next to me, where a couple weeks ago I was writing down the journey. Just writing down just all the highlights and where things really started and where they got going. And for me, it starts on these. I still need something where I could really see this. But for me, for Stro, before I was even Stro, started in like 2003 with just recording on tapes. This was before YouTube, before type beats, before you could just go online and get whatever the hell you wanted, when you really had to kind of figure it out. And the dream and the goal was music. I think back then everybody wanted to be like Lil Bow Wow, but one of my big inspirations, I always give it to my cousin and say he got me into this and got me going with music. But when I watched 8 Mile, and I know I shouldn't have been watching 8 Mile at 7, but I was. I saw 8 Mile and Eminem in there. It just, that added to the inspiration of my cousin telling me that he wanted to do it and I wanted to be just like him. And I was like, all right, man, this is what I wanted to do. So I started recording on tapes and karaoke machines and little DJ boards, just anything I could do to find the sounds. And eventually got the first MacBook. Actually, I got the MacBook over there. I should have pulled it over here. Got the first MacBook, started getting the CDs going. I was off to the races. I was selling CDs in middle school and just on MySpace dropping songs week after week after week. And in 2007, early 2008, Christmas really 2007, that's when I really became Stro. When I put out my music for everyone to hear, and from then it is what it was. And there's a lot more little different pieces and videos that I could go back on, but I want to spare y'all just the ear noise of having to hear that. Just that, I think that intro was enough. We're going to fast forward from 2003 to 2007 to now, 2010, where I had already put out some music videos, but this is kind of where things really started to come together. You know, I got that first DSLR camera when nobody was really using DSLR cameras yet. We still kind of using camcorders. Got that first DSLR camera. I think by this time I was putting out, this was like my fourth project maybe, freshman year of high school in a whole nother school. So I get to now build that name even more and just keep going. And I gave them who they want. So far in love who I came to be, in love what I done, in love my good life, and I love my loved ones. Y'all busy fitting in while I'm busy standing out, so I guess that I'm what all the pants about. Now we running this young legend mafia, telling you where you lead, and I promise no one's stopping you. My team running deep, but we ain't hit capacity. Y'all can see it in the game and nobody's passing me. I tell them like Rick Ross, I'm not a star, but I've still been shining mighty bright so far. For some reason, I feel like something not going right in this mic, just what I'm seeing in the levels. But in any event, that's a good place to pause it. As you could hear from the first joint to that one, things started progressively getting a little bit better. Because, you know, I taught myself how to do all this. Like I said, there was no YouTube back then and everything. And I really wanted this and wanted to learn how to do it. So I taught myself how to record myself. I started off recording in a garage band, but I also had Logic. So then quickly went over to Logic. And then eventually by this point, when you hear this song, I was moving into Pro Tools and making the beat in Logic, but putting the vocals and doing the vocals in Pro Tools. And I think I did this video on like Final Cut Pro. Started teaching myself how to edit my own videos in there and really just putting it together. And, you know, this is the time of Young Money's dominant still, and MMG and Kanye's label, Good Music and everything. So I wanted a squad, and I really wanted a squad, but like I'm from Windsor, Connecticut. At that time, especially, nobody was doing it. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna just put all my homies in position, kind of see where it go. Yo, my best friend who started off, my best friend then started off rapping with him. He didn't really want to do the music, so I was like, cool, man, you still around? I'm going to put the camera in your hands. And then my other boy kind of put the BTS camera in his hands. And D'Antonio, who you know, you see streaming with me now, had him doing music with me at one point, then doing the cameras. A couple more people you'll get introduced to along the way. But yeah, man, I just made my homies my team and said, yo, man, we going to get this. So it started off before you got Originals crew. It was Young Legend ENT. And this was 2010. But where I really want to get to is right here. You know, for me, for a long time, I was just figuring out the craft. I was writing songs, trying to figure it out, trying to see where I'm going to get going with it. And in 2010, October 19, 2010, that's when my grandmother died. And that was the first time that I really like just put it all on a track, just put all my emotions out there and said, she died out of nowhere. Like I was with her the week before in Boston, and me and my dad were leaving Boston, and I was crying, and he was like, yo, why are you crying and everything? And I was like, I just wanted to see Nanny. I was supposed to see Nanny this weekend. I didn't get to see her. And he called her, and we turned around, and we went to see her. And she told me something that in the moment I kind of got, but I didn't get as much until I was older. And what she told me is that, man, you got to man up. And she kind of explained it. Well, she did explain it. And she was like, what I mean is, yeah, you can cry with me right here, and you can be my baby, and you can let these emotions flow. But the world is tough out there, and you can't let them see you down. You can't give people that win. So you got to man up. And that was maybe hard advice for a 13, 14-year-old to hear, but it's always rang so true for me, and I've always held on to that. And that was A week before she died, I'm sitting on her steps outside her apartment, having that conversation with her and my cousin. And then a week later, my mom picks me up from, I think she picked me up from the house. No, I always remember, it was Wacky Tacky Day. It was my freshman year, so it was Spirit Week. And the one day that week that I did was Wacky Tacky Day. And I didn't even really want to do it, but I was like, you know what, I'll put on the blue shoe with the purple shoe, whatever, and the red sweater. And I remember me and my mom after school, we had went up to the mall to get, me some new winter coats. And then we're on the way home from the mall, and she pulls into the parking lot. I'm like, what's going on? Like, why we here? Why we pull over? Why we we're not going to McDonald's? What's going on? She's like, just wait a second. Your dad's coming to get you. And I'm like, for what? And she's like, no, I'll tell you in a second. And, when she called him and then he heard he was closer, and she told me, she was like, Nanny's in the hospital and he wants you to go up there because things aren't looking too good. And I was like, what? And I think that may have been one of the first times that I really prayed. I remember it's that whole ride up there. It's like an hour and a half ride. I mean, my stepmom was driving and she was doing like a buck on the highway. And my mom was right behind her. We're riding up there, and I'm just, only thing I can really remember that car ride is just me praying. And to get to the end of the story, she passed. And that was hard. That was super hard because I'm 14, and that was like the first person that I had really lost, and not just lost, but I was just with her the other day, and it was so hard to process and to get through. And the only way that I knew how to really do it was just to put my emotions in the music, and it made me feel so much better. But it also, that same week, that same conversation that I had with her, that last conversation, is when she told me, yo, you have a gift. I've heard some of your music, and you gonna make this family rich. And she was like, I like what you're doing. Keep doing it. Keep going. So when I wrote this song about her and these songs about her, it made me feel better, and I was connected to her, I was doing what she wanted me to do. So this is one of those songs.
The whole time in my heart, I felt you sleep. I ain't like it was yesterday, but I'ma try my heart to explain. I don't think I'll ever really be able to explain how I feel about my grandmother, but I'ma try my hardest. I remember the day like it was yesterday. Emotions running deep, riding up to Boston. I was scared to go to sleep. I ain't wanna wake up and hear that you're gone the whole time in my heart. I felt you holding on. There's not an aspect of that night I would ever forget. In the moment with you, I would ever regret. There's a lot of days where I still need your advice on how to deal with different women in my life. We talked about it all, a lot of conversations. I was free to say it all, no hesitations. You helped from the young man that I am. You's a big part of my life, but always lend a helping hand. Even though you didn't have much, you gave your family a lot. You didn't have it all, but you gave us everything you got. Through everything, we can never pay it back. So I just think about you every time I rap. It's like I lost a piece of me. There's certain views on things that only me and you can see. You can never be replaced. I see you in my dreams, but I wish I could when I'm away. I don't think I'll ever be the same. I don't wanna forget you, but I don't wanna feel the pain. Even though I still got a lot to take in. You might be gone, but you're never forgotten. Gone, but never forgotten. Gone, but
Just real quick, I might let a good majority of this play, but when I did this video too, this was the first time I had used green screen too. I was pretty damn impressed with myself. I was frustrated trying to figure it out, even if you look at, let me move myself right quick. If you look at my hat right here, I had on a green hat, so it kind of goes in and out, like you could see through the hat. And also, I was trying to dunk outside. Like, I filmed this before, like, Christmas break. And I was trying to dunk outside my house because I live in New England and the winters ain't like they were in 2004, 2005. Started being a little warm out. So I tried to dunk and I fell straight on my face into the curb. So my nose even, let me take this off. My nose probably look a little maybe crooked here and big, and my lips look a little swole because my face had finally just started to heal up. And I was like, man, I want to do this video for Nanny, man.
Never forgotten, gone, but never forgotten. You might be gone, but you never forgotten. Me and Alice was talking, and then my dad pulled me aside. It was all over his face, then my grandmother died. I knew it was the truth, but I prayed it was a lie. I was saying to myself that was a joyful cry. I cried in my father's arms, I cried in my mom's. I walked by the waiting room, trying to stay calm. Then when I got into her room, I completely broke down. It still hasn't fully sunk in that my grandmother's not around. I didn't think it would happen, but the worst came, and now I get a little choking up when I hear her name. Vicodin couldn't take away the pain, and I know that everyone else in my family feels the same. I don't think I could deal with another death. It doesn't matter who it is. I just wish Nanny could take another breath, but I know she had another life to live. It's like I lost a piece of me. There's certain these are things that only me you can see. You can never be replaced. I see you in my dreams, but I wish I could when I'm away. I don't think I'll ever be the same. I don't wanna forget you.
Even like that right there. That's a lot of these pictures are like pictures that my grandmother took too. So that, I remember this night. This was we were supposed to go to the movies, and I started having an asthma attack or something. But I don't think I had my inhaler with me, so we had to go to the hospital. And yes, he took that picture. You know, I could keep letting that play through, but I'm gonna just keep getting myself choked up and everything. But you know, this moment is what kind of not just changed Billy as the kid or William as the kid and as the person, but it changed Stro as the artist. It started to give my music more meaning, and I started to see the importance of, you know, telling a story and having music that meant something. And then in 2012, like when Trayvon Martin died, you know, I'm like what, 15, almost 16, but I'm scared. The last time after that I can remember being scared, like when somebody that I didn't know died, was Nipsey. But we'll kind of get to that afterwards. But when Trayvon Martin died, I was scared, and I felt that. That's the first time that we're like, at least in my lifetime, that we're really seeing, you know, a young black man being killed and being taken away from his family. And again, I was like, I put it in a track.
The back entrance. Are you following him? Yeah, okay, we don't need you to do that. Okay.
We live in a world where shoot first, ask later. Another black kid killed to the world is nothing major, but to parents it's more because that could have been their son. No one deserves to lose their kid through the hands of a gun. This is just an example that nothing's never enough, cause they'll always make us lay down even when we stand up. We thought a black president would add a new perspective. Rappers don't focus on issues, they just focus on their necklace. The law said we're equal, yet we still become a victim. If I committed crime, I'm just another nigga in the system.
And yo, I remember I was writing this song by this time. By the time this came out when I did this, I was 16. Because I remember asking my dad, of like yo, can I say nigga in this song? And I was like, yo, it makes a lot of sense, and it goes with what we're saying and everything. It goes with the message of the song. And he was like, yeah, do it. And then from there, I was just like, from there, I would bleep out the cuss words until I was like 17 or something like that. But I was like, oh shit, it's up now. Fuck it, we cussing in records. But this song even makes me say of remembering the importance of how you use words, and even in songs, but just in everyday regular language. Like when I said nigga in this song, it was it was for a particular purpose. It wasn't just because I just wanted to say it, or because it flowed in the line. Like it was important. Let's even run it back.
Add a new perspective, rappers don't focus on issues, they just focus on the necklace. The laws say we're equal, yet we still become a victim. If I committed crime, I'm just another nigga in the system. They stop posing us down because we're killing each other. It's sad when minorities kill an innocent brother. When God made the earth, I know this wasn't in his vision. People taking each other's lives is a decision.
I'm gonna let a little bit more of this play. This next part is just a little bit of like a flashback, trigger warning, and everything. I'm just saying that now.
We reached the point where there's nothing left to hate on. If all you see is skin, then I'm no different from Trayvon.
Okay. And is it a male or female?
It sounds like a male.
And you don't know why?
I don't know why. I think they're yelling help, but I don't know. Just send someone quick. Say stop.
Does he look hurt?
I can't see him. I don't want to go out there. I don't know what's going on. So they're sending him.
So you think he's yelling help?
Yes.
All right. What is your number?
There's gunshots.
You just heard gunshots?
Let's hope Trayvon didn't have to die for nothing. Change.
Like that part of the song still sends chills down my body and everything, and chokes me up a little bit and just pisses me off. It makes me remember the George Floyd's and Breonna Taylor's and just everything. But even further, like and I think that's when they really started to throw the whole sink at us, at everything that you're able to see and hear and watch online. That was you heard another 15, 16-year-old kid screaming and crying for help on this call, and you can basically hear his last moments with that gunshot pop. And it's just like, damn, like you can see it in your head. And yeah, it was just a lot. And by this point, I'm 16, and that's when like I really started putting it all into music. And I said, we see that beginning video of me just being kind of quirky and the flow kind of off, and it's kind of slowly progressing. But for me, this is what is still kind of about. And I think why I really don't even listen to hip hop now. I just listen to R&B, because it's like you don't get sorry, I'm still a little sick. You don't get music with a message. You don't get music that matters to say anything, to speak to anything going on now. If it does happen, it's for the true purpose of just capitalizing on the moment, and not for the purpose of really spreading and sharing a message with people. So that's what that's what detaches me. But even if I think about any music further at any point, it's what really kind of reminds me of like, all right, my mom told me when I was a kid, I was just freestyling one day, and I was just like, just going. I was in the other room, and and in my head, I had like the most fire freestyle ever. I was catching a vibe with it. But she heard me, and she was like, "What'd you say?" And I was like, "I don't know." And she was like, "If you're gonna rap, if you're gonna do music, make sure that you have a message." So that was something that for a long time I really, really kept, was having a message and having a story in what I create. But back to the other side, like I said, man, it was a long time. It was me and my friends, me and my homies, just trying to put stuff together in the studio. And one of my homies it really worked with, my best friend, my kid's godfather, X. He has so many damn different rap names, but today we just gonna call him X. And the funny part about that CD story, in the beginning, I was selling CDs. I was selling CDs out to school, and I think he hates when I tell this story. I was selling CDs out to school, and he was running around with his little basketball hoodlum friends and shit. And it was like, "Oh, yo, let me see one of those CDs," and just ran off with my shit. And I wasn't that fast at the time, so they was just booking it and just hauling ass and running around. And I was just like, "All right, man, forget it." And I walked back inside. I was in the after school program and everything. Then the teacher at the after school program was like, "Yo, did they take your CDs?" And I was like, anything, because she was watching from the window, because this was when all the after school programs was letting out. I was like, "Word, I'm gonna go and hustle mine real quick, go and get my CDs out there." She was like, "Did they take your CDs?" I was like, "Yeah." So then she went and she got the principal and she told them and everything. And they was like, "Oh man, you snitched, man. You told, man." Whoop de do. Whoop de do. I didn't, but she did. And they wasn't really mad or like holding nothing against it or anything. They was like, "Yo, we was just playing, but if we go to prison for the rest of our life, whoop de do." So yeah, that was how that kind of went. First started, I had kind of known X before that. But then we get into 7th grade, and he was like, "Yo, man, like, you still doing the music and everything?" And I was like, "Yeah," but I was still kind of tight about that CD shit, because we was in homeroom together. I was like, "Yeah," but he was like, "Yo, man, let's do a song together." And for like the whole first like 6 months of the school year, I was like, "All right, man, yeah, we'll get to it." And then he was like still persistent on asking and everything. And then by the time we had got to like February, March, like we had a whole bunch of classes together, a homeroom and everything, so we started getting closer. And then my boy at the time, who I was making music with, who I put him on to do songs, he kind of wasn't feeling it as much anymore. And I was like, "You know what, man, let's do it." And we had went and we did this song called "We the Future," and I have to find it somewhere. We did it. We put it on MySpace. And man, that thing was going crazy through the school. It was like, "Oh shit, X, yo, you rap too and everything." And we just, we went from there. We kept building from there. No, that's my right hand, man. That's my brother. So we grew even closer. And I started off with like the first joint that we did. Like I wrote the song. Like I wrote the whole song. I wrote his part and everything. But then he was like, that summer we was going in, and he was like, "Yo, I wanna start writing myself. Like figure it out." And he figured it out like that. And let me tell you, still like this next part is one of like my greatest, even like regrets in the story, is that we didn't do more. Cause basically everything I could do, he could do. And like he was able to pick it up quick. Like I was producing, just showed him a couple things, and he was playing the drums too. So like he had a musical ear. He figured out how to produce. He figured out how to write his own songs and write the hook and write the bridge. He done produced a couple songs for me. So it's like my best friend was like a great musical pair, and eventually we formed this group called Syph, and we wanted to do like the kind of back and forth rap thing, and this was kind of we did songs before that, but this was like the debut of Syph.
With the power, but comfy with getting richer. Everything dope, like I dropped it in a brick. Way too much potential, like the #1 pick. 187 for the whole damn year, and we started from the bottom, but my whole team here. What's up? One verse works, send it to the grave. One verse works, and I get paid. One verse works, and I lead the stage. Wasn't here to stay, just here for the overlay. Reaching new heights, like I got a different flight. They tried to turn a nigga down, like they censor my mic. Never on and need to know basis. They flow too basic. I cracked it like the Matrix. I rip flows like R.I.P. Still getting tatted with that YLE. But it's OCTD till a nigga go. T-shirts on the way like connects. We got it for the low. Walk into the booth like I got some shit written. When really I just think of.
Real quick, this is real quick. I've always been like a creature of habit. I like to use certain things for a long time. This was like 2013 or something like that. I'm pretty sure that same light that we used in the video is the same light that I'm using right now. Not really too important. I just wanted to say that.
Little, then I get to spitting. They saying is he kidding? He ain't writing nothing down. Try to switch it up a little, but Wayne got the crown, and until he pass it down, I'm fighting for the title. Rappers gotta eat. This a game of survival. Take shots at your idol just to stay relevant. Keisha Cole need a buzz. She ain't do it for the hell of it. Mixtape drop, now it's time to do work. Eat these boys food, treat they girl like dessert. They say I talk reckless, but who gon' check me? All my haters respect me, but these youngers wanna test me. I swear they getting out of pocket. They love the boss, so I know they gon' jock it. They know the process, they can never knock it. Gave them too much attention, now it's back to the top. All my shit dope. All my shit dope. All my shit dope. Cause it's 187 how I kill it in the studio. All my shit dope. All my shit dope. Cause it's 187 how I kill it in the studio.
All my shit dope. Couple kilos pushing like Ace, but they ain't taking shit like Rico. All about my C-notes. Niggas stay behind the line like a fucking free throw. Better ask your girl cause she know. Hottest thing cooking up these balls in the kitchen. They call me Ace cause it's easy do this for.
Yo, the funny part. This was like 3-4 in the morning. And we had to do like so, but I had to add it like so many different B-roll in it because like he was trying to remember the lyrics. Well, like half forgetting them. I was like, yo, we putting this video out, yo. We gonna do this. But yeah, man, that was when like that just first really started to come together like that. And just kept it going, and there was so many years of doing music and so much footage that we had recording downstairs. So when it came to 2016 and I started doing my project called The College Dropout 2. So at the time I was in community college. I was kind of looking at some universities, but I really was not feeling going to a university or staying in college. I was thinking about dropping out to get a trade. What do they call it? Long story short, not long story short, whatever. You see that degree on the wall, so your boy eventually got it. You did get it. But at the time, I was not feeling it. So I felt like The College Dropout 2, and I did the, 2 instead of the 2, was just where I was going in my story. And when I was doing that project, I was like, yo, this is the perfect time to take all this footage that we have and kind of just create a documentary around the whole project. And I could show the before story and the now story. And so I'm going to do something a little bit bigger and a little bit different with this later. I figured the best time, man, let's just start with that documentary.
Turn up the headphone now for me, the one that say phones on the white box.
I'm going to make me even a little bit smaller.
Turn it up a little more.
Am I supposed to be recording this? Oh, yeah.
Alright.
That's D'Antonio talking and recording. At this time, for this documentary, like I said, D'Antonio eventually became cameraman too. He, in another video, I played the song that we did. I don't feel like plugging it in and playing it now. But for this video, for this documentary, he recorded everything that we was recording in that time, and then started off my damn documentary talking about, am I supposed to be recording this? Yes, you was always supposed to be recording. God damn, man.
Turn up the headphone knob for me, the one that say phones. On the white box.
Yeah, am I supposed to be recording
Turn
this?
it up a little more.
Am I supposed to be recording this? Oh, yeah.
Alright. A little more.
Talk. I'm going to do something. I'm going to talk. I'm going to do something. I just spent the summer with the tour. I hope I'm not in the spot that showed up. I'ma spend this money till I'm drained out. Listen, I be going, put them days out. Listen, I be going, put them days out. Listen, I be pulling every chain out. I just spent the summer with the tour. I just spent the summer going do something. Ant the Kid, that's D'Antonio.
William Barrett Strother II.
There we go.
Took the first 4 letters off of Strother and got Stro. Overtime at the Stylez.
It's OC. And I don't know if we're gonna run through the whole thing tonight. This is like a 45-minute documentary. When I first released it, I just put it out as like the whole thing, because like this is like before kind of clipping the things and for everything became the norm of what to do. But yeah, I released this when I was still in community college, and I'm pretty sure this is what got me an A in one of my classes, because one of my teachers was like just so amazing. She played we spent a whole class period just watching my documentary, and then the whole class like asking me questions about it afterwards, and I think it became like an assignment and everything. It's one of those moments that made me blow up my head a little bit, but it got me an A, so I ain't even mad at it, and it wasn't even for the class. TD, what's the legacy bill? It's originals crew up in the Legacyville, and we just getting started. There's so many ways to go. There's so many ways I could be somebody you pay some no.
Always repping the dub side, that's for life. Wins the CT. Pilots moved to Springfield when I turned about like 9, so hold them down heavy to the field. I really had the connection for them the most. It's like that's where it all started to come together. That's where the team was at.
I still have the raw files and footage of this whole thing, but that was back like when I was losing stuff on hard drive. My hard drives is still messing up. I had a video I was supposed to put out last week, but one of my hard drives started failing like mid-process of me editing it. So my no backup plan tip of the week last week got messed up. Still got on the camera, so I could do it. But in any event, I lost hard drives and computers so many damn times. Shoot, I lost the mix files of the songs from this album, lost those, and I lost the project file of this actual documentary. So I still have the footage, just it all put together I don't have. But maybe, and I say that because, see some places that I want to retouch up. But maybe I'll go back in later and do a different cut of it. I think I will. That'll be kind of one of my projects, to recut the documentary, because I just see certain points that I'm like, all right, I'm looking at it with 29-year-old, almost 30-year-old eyes. This was 2016, almost 10 years ago. So I'm seeing definitely how I could have made it better. Yes, that is me with dreads. And I'm like, damn, man, just talk a little louder, man. Give it a little more sauce. But let's keep going.
We was in the back cave. That's where the studio came together. We was down there making records. We was shooting
at the back cave. That was what we called the studio in Springfield, where we started in the beginning.
We learned to be OC, we learned to be originals crew. It laid so much of a foundation that it was like, when I think of the field, when we bring it back to the field, it's like that's our roots. So genuine. It was all cool. Just making music, just enjoying ourselves, just staying up all night making records. It was like just grinding.
Yeah, I can't be recording on my half forward. Because the brim touching the fucking
Pop filter.
Yeah, the pop filter. They'll be like, damn. That shit funny, yeah.
How you thought he was moving? I ain't tell you. You can f with him all you want. He gonna wake up.
The energy was, it was always hype in the studio. There was never a dull moment in the studio. Whether you was getting roasted or you was roasting.
So the first nigga that's gonna clear it is Stro.
My face.
You had fun doing it.
Wake up and go for the day.
I came into it towards the end of it, but I felt like I definitely fit in.
It's a quick shot. That was me. I told you I had fell on my face at one point. Like I went a long time without breaking no bones, and then just when things started happening, they started happening. So senior year of high school, I was playing basketball again. They had Jest and X was telling me we was at the gym. We was at LA Fitness. And just got the membership to LA Fitness and I could bring somebody with me. But when we went in there, they had just finished playing volleyball on the court. And he was like, yo, man, let's just leave. Let's just come back another day. And I was like, nah, man, I'm trying to ball. So as soon as we get in there, very first game after they open back up the gym to play basketball, I get the ball on the first play. I get a steal going down the court for the layup. Whole knee blows out. My whole body goes forward. Bottom of my leg goes backwards. Done. Tore my MCL, my PCL, broke my leg. It was horrible. I tried to get up and maybe stand up, see if I could just, if it was just something I could walk off. Nope. I think I maybe sat there for a second to kind of let him finish playing. I was like, yo, this hurt. We got to go. He had to, put me over his shoulder to carry me out the gym. I think he might have had to physically pick me up to carry me into my mom's house. I couldn't get inside. And I was moving around, at least, on that leg for a month. I went to the hospital. They gave me crutches. Went to the doctor the next week to see what was going on. They said, nah, your leg's not broken. Then I went to the specialist, and they was like, no, you did break your leg, and you tore some ligaments. So this part right here is from me hobbling around in the studio. I had on the big brace on my underneath my sweatpants, the whole brace from right here all the way down, trying to get to the booth. I felt like 50 and Get Rich or Die Trying after he got shot. I was just trying to still get to it, man. That dedication was there. And this is all the way in the basement at my dad's house. By that time, I was my room was on the first floor, so I had to go up and down between there. My computer my computer and stuff mainly stayed down there when I was there. But yeah, man, I say that and say the dedication. But man, down there, it was lit. A lot of crazy things happened behind that door. That was the hatchway, but hey, that's a story for a different video. But man, we had two TVs, one for just watching, the other one for gaming. Had the music set up on this side of the basement. Had another computer right here. Had my Mac. Had the microphone right there. Had a couple chairs over there, couches. Shit was lit. I remember my brother Devin would come home at 2 o'clock in the morning. He trying to go to sleep, and he pissed because we at it, yo. We banging out records, knocking joints out. He knocking on the wall yo, it's loud as hell. But that was what we did. That's how we spent our childhood, our teen years, just grinding at the craft.
I can't even say it was different. It was starting. Or with being not but I don't want to say officially.
As D'Antonio, this one we was doing that video in the beginning. Who they want? He was holding the iPad with the music and everything. This was like 2011. He was holding the iPad with the music. He outside in Springfield and he cold as hell. And it's funny too. I always tease him now about walking around without a shirt and it'd be mad cold in the wintertime. But in any event, he was cold.
Most of it being recorded.
Either get A, I pull a fish off the scale when the fat off the steak.
No sleep, half an hour nap. You know, pizza boxes. We was really working. I cannot make this up.
Slept down there, ate down there, did everything.
As I bring around the end,
It just feels like the work is now. You sleep when I'm good.
I'm like VS1s in the drug, you can still see the glow. Present day, that nigga.
Everybody like close, everybody can help anybody. But it's more good.
It's his family, so you know we really held each other back, really held each other down.
I feel like I grew up with them. You know what I mean? I feel like I went to elementary school with everybody.
You know, always know how to record what we wanted to record, and always know how to produce what I wanted to produce, and always know how to record these records.
Now we really get into the documentary and the recording process of itself. And this was one of those days. This is the intro track for the project. And I was hearing it one way and trying to record it and everything, and it was not hitting. By this point, we not in Springfield no more. We at my cousin's house. Ain't like my cousin that got me into music. He was living with his uncle at the time, and his grandfather actually built a studio in the basement. My uncles and everything, they was doing music when they was kids, so their dad actually built like a full studio in the basement. And for years it hadn't really been used and everything. And then my cousin was like, I said like, yo, just bring your stuff over here, yo. Let's get something going and we can just do it there. So I was like, all right, cool, because I wasn't going to Springfield as much no more. Just I was in college and everything, you know, riding around differently then. So I was like, all right, man, you know what? I'll put the studio here. And it's kind of like a rebirth of the Batcave 2.0. It was kind of even better. You know, we would be playing music loud all night. Nobody cared. We be there all times of the night. Just once again, still going and grinding.
Alright. Yep, and then gonna come with second verse 2.
Scratch both of them?
I like the hook though. I'm talking about I still like the words. Some stuff that I write.
That's my cousin right there, the one that got me into music. And yeah, man, I don't even think I gotta do too much commentary. They gonna explain it.
Don't sound good, but if someone else say it, they sound good with it. That's what I meant by, you know, I like the words.
I feel like the first time he did it, it was how he wanted it, but I think his pitch wasn't right, so that's why he tried to do it again, and he basically just changed the whole sound of it.
I had it one way, but it was like it wasn't good enough for me. No, auto-tune and come things sound dope. I heard it in my head, I was like, this sounds fire.
I thought I was killing it.
It come out like that.
Huh? Yeah. Sometimes you gotta do stuff like that in the studio by yourself.
I did. No, I'm gonna keep it funny with him. Well, I had to keep it real with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't right. If the son ain't right, I'm gonna definitely tell him.
He should keep the first shit.
You hit the first one, right?
If you feel a certain way about something, it should be, you know, put out into the air because, you know what I'm saying, it can help.
Oh, I was doing good.
Huh?
I thought.
Huh?
But
You want me to mute
I
that one
had
out?
I
planned.
like the words, but it wasn't just coming out right.
If you can't get it, there's always somebody that can.
Hold up.
Oh
own.
Yeah, like that.
Perfect. There we go.
On my own. He definitely came in clutch with the shortcut. On my own.
Tariq Clark, ladies and gentlemen. Met Tariq when I was in piano class in like 2012. My piano teacher. Oh man, anything like. Shout out to Jay. He was like, "Yo, what you doing with rapping and playing the piano and just the music you kind of create? I think I got someone to introduce to you." He introduced me to Tariq. And I was like, "Yo, as you can hear, just probably from that short little snippet, man, his voice is amazing." And I was just like, "Oh no, we gotta do something together." So we did a fair amount of songs together. But when I really needed something, when I couldn't get something the right way, when I'm trying to hit them notes and it's just not coming out right, I had the perfect person to call. And that's when creating the team became more than me just trying to put people in place that I just want to be there. Now that's when I started getting the right people in the right place that really wanted to do this. So yeah, there's me and someone like Tariq that had that kind of voice. Ooh, my head still sick. That was cheat code, man.
With smooth as butter. I didn't get the ad-libs and the extra things into it. It didn't go as great as I wanted it to.
This is what I'm singing, going with the chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna have
Yeah, ad-lib on top of the chorus.
Okay.
But like make it more powerful.
Trying to do something else at the beginning of the chorus, it wasn't really helping.
Still got to sing the chorus.
Like the high.
We're gonna go through this a little bit more later. There's 10 parts to this. So like I said, this was just a quick peek into it. But before we finish, there is one more piece that I just kind of want to end it with, which is right here.
I don't always understand something about a situation or something that I'm doing. I write about it and.
Oh yeah, I explained this already. Yeah,
I like it, and also at the same time, I played it for people. Other people heard it, and the music helps people.
Yeah, I'll say it in a second.
And I know she's proud of that.
He's being this someone. He's being this someone.
Okay, is there anything you have to say for it?
Those were D's perfect words. Sometimes he didn't have to say something. He could just look at you. This is my grandfather, Feldman Bell Jr., my mom's dad. And I think, is it over here right now? Oh, you can see my crazy ass pants. Wow. It's the fact that I'm doing this, and I know it's down here right now because I just so happened to have it in my pocket the other day. Where did I just put it? Where did I put it? I just saw it. Hold on. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. I'll find it. Either I brought it upstairs where it's supposed to be, or one of the kids started touching my stuff again. But in any event, my grandfather, like my grandmother, he was one of the people that really believed in me and what I was doing. And I really wish I could find it for this moment, because I had it. I mean, I got his army chains down here. But when I was like 8 or 9, he gave me this medallion. And he was like, yo, this is your first rapper chain. And he gave me that necklace, and like I said, it's somewhere down here because it meant a lot to me, means a lot to me. And when I was doing this documentary is when, you know, he wasn't doing as well anymore. And I didn't want to make that, not mistake necessarily with my grandmother, but I knew that I wanted to specifically capture him while he was still here, and just to have him part of this project, part of this process and everything. So one day when I was with him, you know, I recorded and everything, and the song that I wrote about him on the project is a song called Jonathan's Dream. And it was this part that he would take me to when I was a kid. I used to beg him all the time to just, I actually scratch that. I didn't have to beg him. When I went to my grandparents' house, he knew what I wanted to do. He knew where I wanted to go, and we would just go. And it's like my grandmother, who is my dad's mom. It's crazy. Both my grandmother's names are Virginia. Got something coming for that. But my dad's mom, Virginia, and my mom's dad, Feldman, they both just like believed in me so much and poured in me so much. Maybe they just loved me so much. Like when I was doing magic as a kid, you know, I wanted to be a magician before I wanted to be a musician. And so I remember we would go to Las Vegas every year. And I would go down to the magic shop, and then I would get my tricks and kind of go in the hotel room with my mom and learn my tricks. Then I'd go to my grandparents' room and like put on a magic show for them, and he would just sit there and just, you know, inspire me on, egg me on. And he just meant so much to me.
Looking at my life, you know, looking at all the other things going on, I have to look at the things that affect me the most, and something that affects me the most right now is my grandfather. I look at him being sick, and it's like it scares the mess out of me, because with losing my grandmother, I didn't see that as it was happening. You know, I didn't see her leaving. I just saw her there, and then one day she was gone, and I felt the pain and all that. I know the afterwards. But now with him, it's like I know what happens afterwards, and I know what that feels like, and I'll know that I'll have to deal with that. And now I'll also have to deal with the right now of it almost like leading up to that. Like, you don't want to think the thought of like leading up to it, but it's like that's what it is. You have to be real with yourself about that. And that's like the scariest thing in the world.
Does your neck get sore with your head tilting down like that? Those muscles? Let me just grab your blood pressure.
With my grandfather, he used to take me to this park called Jonathan's Dream. It's ironic because like when he gets sick and he has to go to the nursing home for them to get him better, you know, Jonathan's Dream, it sits on the place where the nursing home now is. You know, they knocked it down and they built that nursing home there. Walk in the house.
Yeah, that was the other part of it. The Jonathan's Dream, they knocked it down, and then, like I said, like when he would get sick, he would go to the Hebrew home, and they built the Hebrew home over where Jonathan's Dream was. Oh, yeah. This is part of that song.
Sometimes we barely speak, it's kinda airy. I know you hear me, I don't need to hear a doctor's theory. I got your nose, you can smell through my nostrils. My bell side, but you still contributed to Stro. My first shaving kit, it came from you. But I don't have your mustache, but it still me gas. Like, yeah, I'm a man now, I can shave like my grandfather. But I can't even grow facial hair like my damn father. Damn. I knew I had to get me and him on camera together for later on, when I can watch that later, for when I can't go to the house and see him. I can look back and I can watch this, you know. I don't have that much of it of my grandmother. It's like you learn from that kind of. I guess I had to take that situation and take everything that I didn't get to do for that and apply it for now, and that's all a blessing.
And you know, I think that's that's where I want to end tonight, with part one of who is Stro Stylez. On the music side, the kid that had this dream of music and had so many beautiful people that poured into him and supported him and gave me the tools to become what I needed to be, to train my ear, to get it right, to now transfer it into video. And there's still a lot more in this story to go, but I think that's a perfect note to end on. And you know, just like that's in memory of them, I want to dedicate this stream to Virginia Strother and Feldman Bell Jr. I love y'all so much. And that is my show for tonight. Thank you.